I love Mike. I love Mike. That is what every man is going to be saying after you learn this concept in this video of why men pull away. So first I want to read some stuff about this. When you're in love or you have strong feelings for a man, nothing can hurt more than having him pull away. It can make you start to question yourself saying, am I good enough? And what did I do wrong? And in this moment, I really quickly want to take the role of your potentially avoidant man by saying, you didn't do anything wrong, and no, there is nothing wrong with you. And a lot of the time when he's in that pull away state, he's not able to say that to you. So I want to say it to you. So if you're watching this, you didn't do anything wrong. You are fantastic, and you are enough, and you are great.
You're the best of the best,
Yes,
E.
I know, darling. I know.
But now, why does he do this? Our man will pull away because he is the caveman survivor. That is our word for today. He is the caveman survivor. So let me explain that. A man pulls away. Now, first of all, if he pulls away and you're like just early stages of dating, get rid of him. That's easy. But if you have some serious feelings for him, that's when this advice really has some merit. So caveman survivor means he's dealing with some stress. That's why he's pulling away. So what stress can look like to him in a million different ways, but some examples is going through a sticky divorce at the end of it. Maybe some problems with co-parenting. Maybe something bad happens at work. A big meeting went awry, or a meeting's coming up that he needs to get prepared for, and it's building up stress. Or maybe it's something small that's causing him stress, and for him it's stressful. We don't know, but a lot of the time why a man pulls away is stress. Now, why I've deemed this the caveman survivor is because back in the day, our caveman, his stress was typically around he needed to hunt for food. So when he needed to hunt for food, what he had to do was go out there and be really quiet and try to get his bow and arrow out and shoot something and then bring that back to the family so they had food. So he was taught to be pretty independent, pretty quiet. And so this is confusing because women learned a different set of skills. Women that were back at home had to make friends because if they got sick, they needed someone to take care of them. So they had to kind of politic around town and build a network of friends so that if they ever got sick, someone would take care of them, someone would help with the chores with the family. So when women experience stress, they typically seek support and want to reach out to someone. Men, we've been triggered, solve the freaking problem, go be independent, go be quiet, just get it done, solve it. And I'm not saying either method's right or wrong. It's just what I'm seeing out there of what people are doing. So what do men really wish that you knew was when they're in this stress mode, you can't come talk to them in that moment. And let me explain why. The male brain, when they get to stress mode, basically whatever the problem is, it might as well be the problems that Apollo 13 had. No matter how big or small, it's Apollo 13 in his head. So in Apollo 13, all of a sudden there's no oxygen. They don't know how they're going to fall back into Earth because it's going to get too hot and their things gone to protect them from the heat. And just, the computer stopped working. So he's dealing with Apollo 13. And so if you come in while he's dealing with Apollo 13 and go, hey, why are you pulling away? he doesn't want to talk about it in that moment. So he needs you to know that. And he's not, while he's dealing with Apollo 13, able to say to you what I said earlier in the video, which is, you didn't do anything wrong, you're fantastic. So he's looking for you to be strong in this moment. Now, I'm not going to ask you to put your emotions aside, because that's unfair. I'm asking you to table your emotions until it's an appropriate time to talk to them. So every woman watching this has spidey sense, and your spidey sense tells you, hold on, he's not texting me, he's not calling me, he's not in his normal cadence of how he courts me and how he speaks to me. So every woman has this intuition and knows when something's off. And you just want to go like, hey, is something wrong? What works better, since you're like 99% of the time right when something's off, is you say, hey, it seems like you got something going on. When you're ready, I would love to talk to you. And now you're putting the ball back in his court. And a man that's crazy about you and feels just the same way you feel about him is eventually going to really want to sit down and talk to you. But we got to let him deal with Apollo 13, whatever his stress is first, and then you can sit down. Now, once you sit down, the best thing you can do is not jump all over him for, dealing with his stress. It could have been something bad for all we know. It could have been a death in the family, a million different things. The best thing to do is get very curious. So what you're going to do is ask him, hey, I noticed, I haven't heard from you in a few days or a day or two. What's going on? And hear what's happening. Once you hear, can decide to accept it or not accept it, or you're going to think about it. But now it's really time for you to express your emotions and express how you felt during this so that he understands it. He needs to understand what you went through during this. So you tell him like, hey, I went through this whole battle with myself, maybe you did, of like, is this relationship over? Like, did I do something wrong? Like, what is causing my man to talk to me less? So express that to him. And once you feel like you've been validated, that your emotions make sense, and he said like, oh, wow, I didn't want you to feel that way, and he's supportive of you, then I want you to move over to thinking about what you guys can do for next time. So next time this comes up, how can we handle this better so that maybe he experiences less stress? Like, how can you help with Apollo 13? Like, you want to be involved. You're now a team. He doesn't have to do this by himself. And him knowing that really builds value within that relationship, because his whole life it's been Apollo 13, do it by yourself. And he didn't know, and he's never felt comfortable to really have support. So reassuring him that you can take some role, and I'm not saying you need to be up there in Apollo 13 with him, because maybe he doesn't feel comfortable with that, because we're slowly bringing him into a place where it's okay to ask for help and get help. But maybe he's so busy, maybe you make him dinner so that he can stay focused on his thing, and that's your way of support. And maybe what he does is he's more communicative. Maybe he decides, hey, I'm going to do a 5-minute call and be like, listen, I'm going to be a little less talkative and a little less present in our relationship just for a little bit here because I need to do this. So that you, when you hear from him less, your spidey sense isn't going off. You already are in the know of why this is happening, why he's about to go into Apollo 13 mode. All right, so our caveman survivor, we're trying to evolve him a little bit so that, he can come into the 21st century and allow for support. But this is a slow grind for him, so be patient. And I hope this video is really helpful. This is going to be really helpful for him. If you're patient with him, it's going to feel like just a load off of his shoulders. So please try this stuff. I know as a man myself, if a woman treated me this way, like, I'd be head over heels, like crazy about what she was doing. So, did this for my men here and for you. This should hopefully, if we get this right, avoid some anxiety. Let's get you how to get a guy in 60 days. In case this happened to be a guy that you are not going to be putting up with this behavior, we'll get you the video to get a new guy. But if this is a long-term relationship and you guys have got a plan to move forward, let's do it. I love all of you. Thank you for supporting each other. It's so important. And we'll see you next video. And if you want to watch more, I'm going to put up 2 of my best stuff up there. Go get it. We'll see you next time.